Hello, everyone. It's an honor to share this panel with successful, brave, and innovative women. Women of science, researchers who inspire, professors who teach and train. Thank you very much to each one for the ideas you share with everyone this morning. This panel, we have three parts. Part one is an individual question focused on the field of the research where each one has been developed. Part two is a general question with a present and future vision of your research field. And finally, each one will provide a final message to science, innovation, and technology. We present to Dra. Dora Iliana Medina.
Thank you.
Dr. Mariel Alfaro, Dr. Imperio Anel Perales, and Dr. Elda Melchor. It's an honor to share this panel with you. Now, let's go to part one. The part one is an individual question. In this moment, Dora, according to your research expertise, what are the trends that you currently observe in the field of sustainable packaging?
Yes, well, first, thank you very much, Clelia, for the invitation. And I would like to start saying that to answer this question, let you know that this past March, 2023, we have this UN Assembly in Kenya. So senior representatives from about 175 countries become together, and they establish new regulations that will be on by the end of 2024. And so these regulations are about stop the plastic pollution. And the problem is, how are we going to resolve this problem? So from all these plastics, I want to say that food packaging has a big percentage. So answering this question is like, which are the trends that we see for the next years? I think pretty much we're going to have more research in compostable materials, you know, because compostable materials are products that they, like the molecular structure breaks down quickly in the environment, and so they don't need further treatment to degrade. And also I think another trend that we're going to have the next years is going to be the recycling. I think more people is going to recycle these plastics, and also to be minimalist, you know, like for example, sometimes we have these packages, food packages that are very big, and we don't need like a very fancy bags. So I think we're going to get back to very simple presentation in order to save material. Materials that are sustainable, that are less contaminant. For example, we're at this moment in a culture where we produce, we use, and we dispose of. So all this waste goes to the rivers, to the seas, and to the air. For example, some people incinerate these plastics and they contaminate, and the pollution goes up and up. So according, for example, to the Organization for Economic Development, they say that about 20% of the whole plastics generated, only 20% are recycled. I mean, 80% go to these landfills and other parts in the environmental parts. So I think, for example, also another trend that I see pretty much is using residuals to produce products that are sustainable, eco-friendly. For example, the coffee residuals, the sugar cane residuals, I think they are going to use to make, for example, this food packaging. And also they complete all these requirements, for example, FDA or COFEPRIS here in Mexico. Yeah, I think pretty much these are the trends.
Thank you so much, Dora. Very interesting about the data and info about OCDE is new for me. Thank you so much. Next, the next question is to Mariel. Mariel, according to your research expertise, what are the megatrends that you can share with us about the development of advanced materials?
So thank you very much.
No.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. First of all, you know, artificial intelligence, it's in everything right now. You can find it in the research. You know, Dora is working with packages. You will find artificial intelligence for developing new packages. I know that Anel is working with nanomaterials. So I also find works that are related to the nanomaterials. And in the case of Elda, I know that she's working with biowaste and finding new ways to use it. So, you know, these are the golden years of artificial intelligence, and you will find a lot of things. But if you do a quick research right now, you will find that, specifically in material science, scientists are focusing a lot in inverse design of material sciences. And what do we refer with inverse design? Maybe someone come to you and ask you for a material with specific characteristics and specific geometries of this material. So what we can do, we apply artificial intelligence, so we can give a formula to this material. This formula will try to, you know, with artificial intelligence, what you are going to do, you are going to forecast the formula that you are needing to develop this new material. Also, another thing that you can find in this part is the employment of artificial intelligence to detect, you know, quality issues with new materials. What do I refer? Sometimes, well, I work a lot with material alloys, so we are looking for porosities in this kind of materials. So instead, as a researcher, you receive one tomography of a material. What you can do is, like, you have a lot of products. You work with tomography in automatic system, and instantly you can know which parts that were die cast are not usable or don't meet the quality standards. So we're going to start to see new applications of artificial intelligence in different fields of material sciences. Also, you know, I'm working right now with Elda in some projects for decision-making for biowaste. You know, we believe that artificial intelligence can give us a new ways or better ways, some kind, to choose which application of this biowaste could be more sustainable, but not only sustainable, you know, also be the best way for companies to make more money. That is also important, you know? They're going to invest in everything that is good for the company, just to say it. So I guess artificial intelligence in material science is in every part right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariel. I think that fields of healthcare, automotive, aerospace is in this moment is a big industry that needs advanced materials. Thank you so much. Next, Imperio. Imperio Anel. According to your research experience, what are the trends that you currently observe in the field of sustainable composite materials?
Thank you. Okay, thank you for the invitation first. I will say that according with the current problems that we have, that we are facing in the contamination, I will say also that because of one of the purpose of the institute is to decrease the carbon footprint and reduce the carbon emissions, and also propose or develop sustainable productive models. So in this sense, the development of sustainable composite materials is a key factor to reduce or to improve the decarbonization, because in this kind of materials, they can have similar or even better properties than the today's conventional materials. And for instance, conventional materials like glass, plastic, and metals. Also, one of the most attractive characteristics of the sustainable composite materials is the weight reduction that they can offer, and also the improve of properties such as durability and resistance. And these characteristics make these kind of materials very attractive or very useful in different kind of sectors. For instance, in the medical area, we are working in the development of exoskeletons based of carbon fiber to reduce the weight, but also to improve the resistance of these kind of materials, replacing instead of use the metallic metals. We are developing these kind of materials, but also other industries that can benefit of this kind of sustainable components, materials, are, for instance, the transportation industry, aeronautic and automotive industries, because of the high impact that this weight reduction can represent for these companies. But not only the weight reduction is the benefit that we want to offer with this kind of materials, but also the development of biodegradable materials to have this material that can be decomposed in the nature by bioprocess is very attractive to mitigate. That could be another way to mitigate the carbon footprint, and also the development of reprocessable materials to avoid the use of subsequent process to decompose the materials, and both can be using again in the supply chain. Also, I will say that it's necessary to modify the conventional process that currently exists to develop materials in order to have more efficient process to develop materials that can generate waste materials and avoid the use of the extra energy to manage this kind of materials.
Thank you, Anel. I think that the works that this institute that leads Dr. Molina is very important in this moment for the state, for the city, for the country, for the world. You know? I celebrate that the advance in the research about sustainable materials. Thank you. The last question in this round is for Elda. Elda, according to your research experience, what are the trends that you currently observe in the field of biomaterials and waste management? Yes.
Thank you, Clelia, for your introduction, and it's my pleasure to be here and share the forum with these incredible research women and partners at the Institute. I want to start my conversation and answer the question, mentioning that the United Nations declared that the world will be free of hunger by the 2030. And now we are facing global issues regarding on these topics, hunger, food insecurity, also because the food demand is increasing because the population is also increasing. And in that sense, we are facing other challenges regarding on the food waste management, because every year millions of tons of waste are produced derived from the human activities. This waste came from agriculture activities or from the industry. And with these two topics on mind, food waste and the increased demand of food, the question is, how can people be able in the future to access of food? Okay, the solutions or the research that we are doing now in the Institute is the bioconversion of food waste, organic waste, solid waste into high-value products or into new sources of food, because by 2030 the times fly, and we need to make some strategies. And to make this research or this kind of research, I belong to a research group that work in biotechnology processes, and also we find applications, and we are working now side by side with the industry to find or looking for solutions about the waste management. And for example, we can use the fast food waste or spent coffee, for example, or some kind of waste that comes from the agricultural activities, and we can use this waste as a substrate to grow some organisms like fungi or this kind of organisms. And for example, fungi is a very good source of protein, healthy protein for human consumption. And the trend is like this, that to convert some waste into some product with high value product. And in this area, I see that many or several industries are at the moment interested, and we can obtain from the waste protein, lipids, antioxidants, biopolymers for several applications. We are very focused to find new sources of food, but for example, polymers can be used in other areas, and here the partners are working on these topics. And for example, for some people, waste can be or means just garbage. For other people, it can be a treasure, or you can obtain some products from this.
Thank you so much. I recommend that observe the value chain of the waste. Is a challenge to look and find the waste. Thank you, Elda. Well, the next part is a general question for each one. First, what is the role of Dora? What is the role of artificial intelligence in developing and discovering new materials in your field research?
Yes, so it's a very interesting question, because artificial intelligence is everywhere now, right? So, but as I told you before, my area is pretty much like plastics, and I will give you another information that I found very interesting. Like, for example, if you see a graph with a number of tons of plastics against the years, or the other way. So we can see that the increasing production of plastics is huge. I mean, it's dramatically, this exponential curve. And I think most of the scientific community is worried about it. So But I think also we have good news, like for example, now the younger people, like for example millennials, are taking decisions based on the sustainability. For example, they will take a job if they see that the company is friendly with the environment. For example, if the products completes certain regulations, the products don't contaminate, and also they will take another decisions. For example, they will buy a product if they see that it's good with the environment, or they will take a job in that company also. So the thing that I want to say is that now the business have to worry about to complete these specifications or these requirements from the population. So they have to go and look for solutions on finding eco-conscious products. And so people in the scientific community have to accelerate the experiments, right? But the conventional way that we do it in the lab is not enough. So we have to take advantage of all this information that we have, for example, and generate more data that can help us to predict the results of potential experiments. Mm-hmm. So I think in that way we could have a faster way to find a solution for the problem of contamination. And also, I would like to say that all these materials that are compostable, that are biodegradable, products that we can recycle and others that we can reuse, for example, are potential solutions that in some way it will help, but definitely we need this artificial intelligence in order to find a quicker manner to get a solution for this very big problem. So we need a big solution for a big problem. And I think the artificial intelligence, even though we can make calculations, we also have to corroborate them in the experimental way. But I think they can give us a path or also an approximation, and then from that point, maybe we can play with the parameters and say, okay, maybe give us a range of temperatures, and then you can go up and down and then find a solution that is good for that problem. So I think everything in medicine, in plastics, in all genetics, and everything is going to, even public policy, right? Like we have to go with this artificial intelligence.
Very interesting, your opinion about the advance of the new generations of students that go more and more fast about the use of tools and apps as ChatGPT and this. Okay, thank you. Mariel, your topic is artificial intelligence, and from your perspective, what is the role of AI in developing and discovering new materials?
Well, you know, maybe I can focus a little bit more in the challenges that we have. Because, you know, from an academic part, everyone is introducing artificial intelligence to the research. Yesterday, I get to new fellows from Canada, from Singapore, Spain, and United States, and everyone is introducing artificial intelligence in the research some way or another. This is from the academic point of view, but we have a problem when we start working with artificial intelligence inside the industry. Not because the industry don't want to implement artificial intelligence. The problem is more with the people that work in the industry. There is a lot of people that is afraid that artificial intelligence is going to take their jobs. That is a huge problem. And when you go to the industry and you propose a new process, especially here in Mexico, that not everything is automatized, people don't like it. So we need to find ways that artificial intelligence became a tool to make people more productive, not to take their jobs. And we need to convince them that it's a really nice tool that is going to make everything better, it's going to make their work easier, and also the product that they are going to develop is going to be better. So this is one of the main challenges. You know, last week we had a workshop in Ciudad de Mexico campus about the implementation of new technologies like artificial intelligence in every aspect of society. And I asked the same question: how do we manage people to understand that this is a tool? And it's a good tool, so they can be more productive. And the person in charge of the workshop told me that there is no answer right now. So we are working on that. We are trying to convince people about this. And also, there is another problem with artificial intelligence. There are some algorithms that work with a black box dilemma. So we don't understand what is happening right now inside that algorithm, and we need to get to understand that so we can give answers. And also, there are some troubles with accuracy and other things that can be improved in artificial intelligence. And you know, in artificial intelligence, you rely a lot in the fact that, you know, material scientists, like my fellows, develop really, really good databases. If the database is not well developed, you will have problems. So that are some of the challenges with artificial intelligence.
Very interesting about that. You say the culture in the factory floor and also in service floor in the enterprises. The culture in this country is, for me, that big challenge or big problem. Thank you so much. Imperio, Anel, in your field of research, what is the role of artificial intelligence in developing and discovering new materials?
Thank you. Well, I agree with Dr. Dora and Mariel. I think that the technologies are advancing very fast, and the artificial intelligence has a very important role nowadays, and particularly for the development for accelerated development of the materials. I think that artificial intelligence can help us to give us some formulations in order to have materials with better properties, environmental friendly, cost effective, things like that. And that could be very helpful to us to save time, avoiding to spend a lot of time in laboratory making experiments. That is a good advantage. But at the end, I think that artificial intelligence cannot replace the human talent, the human knowledge, because finally those predictions and formulations that artificial intelligence can give about the materials need to be tested experimental in laboratory. I think that we can take advantage, but only until one step, because after that it's necessary that those predictions and that information can be tested and confirmed.
Thank you so much. And the end, Elda, your materials. What is the role of artificial intelligence in developing and discovering new materials in your field of research?
Yeah. I see artificial intelligence as a useful tool in my field because I have seen several reports in which artificial intelligence has been applied in circular economy initiatives and also in food waste management. And for example, with artificial intelligence, we can monitor and optimize all the process of food production and supply chain. And when I say all the process is, it can be in the production, in the collection of the food, in the transportation, also at the end of the chain, for example, recycling materials. And now I'm figuring out more applications of artificial intelligence because Mariel and I are working together in a project for a company or for some field in the industry of the convenience stores and how to manage the food waste. And at the moment, I have some doubts on how to apply, but Mariel is working with us, and she clear about the protocols in which can be optimized. And for example, we can optimize some processes in this kind of protocols or projects. For example, if I want to grow in the lab some fungi and obtain the protein from these fungi, and we have a list with several substrates, with artificial intelligence, we can predict or optimize and see, for example, which can be the yield or which kind of quality the protein can be produced before to start the protocols of the experimentation in the lab. And if we see this as an opportunity to save economical resources or save time or save human resources, for us in this field, I think it's very useful.
Thank you so much. I think that in each field of research, big data, data science, a very secure cloud is very important that you observe in the present and the near future. And the Tec de Monterrey has centers, hubs about these topics. Thank you so much. The last part is a short message. Thank you very much, Dora, Mariel, Imperio, and Elda, for your ideas. And the last question is a recommendation, a final message, and well, where is I lost. Finally, I ask you for a final message about opportunities for women in science, specific STEM topics, and also comment in a single final word, what do you keep and or what do you give to this community of scientists and professors in the institute and the city and the country. Go ahead, Dora. Your final message.
Okay, so you say for women in science, right?
Women in science.
Well, I think the time that we are now is very good in comparison what the women have in the past. Specifically in STEM, I mean, now women can study anything that they want, like from engineering, mathematics, physics, etc. I know that we still have this gap between people that thinks that certain careers are only for boys and these are only for girls. And even though in very developing countries, I have found people that still thinks in that way. But also I found people that is very convinced that, for example, the talent and the intelligence doesn't have a postal code, right? It doesn't have social status, and of course it doesn't have sex. So if you want to find a brain, you can find it everywhere, and maybe in a community, in a part or a population that is not in the radar of everybody, right? But we have to try to find these people because it's very important for our country and also for the world. Yeah, I think wherever is looking this program, I will encourage to try to follow their dreams and to be convinced that if they have talent, so they will shine everywhere, right? Like, even though any obstacle, they will go through it and they will make it. And the others, that's it.
And one word about that you keep, or what do you give to this community? One word.
Yeah, I think perseverance.
Thank you so much. Mariel.
Okay, so
your message.
Thank you, Dora. My message is going to be a complement of what Dora already told us. So I guess for new generations, especially for women in STEM, it's really important to focus on multidisciplinary research. Actually, my research cannot be developed without the information and some teaching from Elda, because nowadays all sciences are looking to develop new products, to become more sustainable, to become with social impact, not only. So we need to focus on every science nowadays when you are developing something new. So look for collaboration among other scientists not belonging to your line of research. And also, if you're a woman and you're looking to grow up, don't worry. You will find people that is going to be interested in your work and is going to value your work, so you need to keep going. That would be my message. And my final words to this will be that focus on multidisciplinary research. Like that.
Focus. Thank you so much. Imperio, Anel, what is your final message?
Thank you. Well, I would like to invite the women to get involved in different research fields, to have the experience and live this way of contribute to solve different kind of problems that our society demand. Also, as Mariel mentioned, is necessary the multidisciplinary to resolve one specific problem. So it is important to use different kind of science. And finally, also these solutions can be resolved in collaboration altogether, universities, government, and industries.
And what is your word?
Sorry, my final word is like thinking about the sustainable materials. I think that the sustainable composite materials are not the future of the materials, are the present, and we are working on that.
Thank you so much. And finally, Elda, what is your final message, please?
Yeah, thank you. I think these kind of forums create a safe space to share our research findings and to promote and empower new scientist women to these areas. It's a very good opportunity to show that the dream is possible. There are equal opportunities to all the people, and we can invite to join to face on these global challenges that we are facing now. And yeah.
Okay, your final word?
Sustainability.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you very much, Dora, Mariel, Imperio, and Elda. And in this moment, we have 10 minutes, Mario, or 5 minutes? Okay, 10? 10, okay. 10 minutes for questions for the audience. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for this panel and this opportunity to hear you all. And my question is, what advice do you have for young women who'd like to have a career in science? And it is an open question, so.
Adelante.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I will say go for it. Yes, so in my experience, I don't regret to have choose this career. Like, for example, I study chemical engineering, and I will tell you something that happens to me when I was in my PhD. I was in Cambridge, and I had a colleague that studied physics, and he was in Cavendish. And one time, his girlfriend came to Cambridge, and he introduced me to her. And she asked me, so what are you studying? And then I said, oh, I'm studying chemical engineering. And she said, but this is a boy's career, so why are you studying that? And she's from Switzerland. So I thought, I didn't say anything. I said, oh, well, I like it very much, the career, and I like the future of this, and I like to be a faculty member. And I said this answer, right? But inside I thought like it was not very encouraging, right? For me, like saying, like people from a developing country thinks about this for girls that study science. So that's what I say, like don't get disencouraged if you find people that is still with this mentality that we have careers for guys and boys. So the answer is go for it, and I think the talent, as I said, is not divided. And if we think that way, I think many people that is very talented in these areas, we will have a lose, right? We will lose opportunities, and we lost this talent, and it will be a very big mistake not doing what you are good at. Like, for example, Einstein said, like you cannot qualify a fish of how he goes through the ladder, right? Like everybody has a specific characteristic, and then you have to develop it.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. I have a general question for all of you. You all talked a lot about AI and how you can implement it within material science. But I've seen a couple of studies and cases about, for example, doctors using AI to look at x-rays to look specifically for tuberculosis. And at a certain point, the AI was better than the doctors at predicting whether the x-ray had tuberculosis. So the doctors started comparing the images, which they couldn't guess, and the AI could. And they realized that the pattern was that the AI also considered the age of the machine that took the picture. So generally, in less developed countries, you have more tuberculosis, and the machines are going to be less developed, right? Another case was with skin cancer, pictures of moles. The AI looked for rulers in the picture, since those were the ones most typical in cases for other doctors. I don't remember which one mentioned something like, as material sciences, we build good databases. So my question is, what are the types of tips or things to look out for to make sure your database has as little bias as possible and is the best at adding the most value to your work?
Mariel?
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, before you start working with a database, you need to clean the database and pre-process it. So you ensure that the data that you are working with is, is right for working with AI. And as I mentioned before, remember, AI is a tool. It won't replace the doctors. And actually, if the AI commits a mistake, you need someone to blame about that mistake. So we still need people. So that's two things. And well, with the databases, sometimes you clean the database, pre-process the database, and the database is wrong. So you need to be careful. What we do a lot in our laboratory is that we talk a lot with the user and the person that is developing the database, so we can ensure that the database works for us and it's well built. So that would be my answer to that.
Sorry, is in another question for, sorry.
Hello, I'm Katia Garza. I'm an international sustainable fashion designer. I'm very pleased to meet you all. I just want to add something, it's not a question. In the fashion industry, the problems that you are mentioning are, I assure you that 10 people here are using polyester that is plastic, and there are microplastics in drinking water and a lot of earth plants, etc. I want to introduce you a project we are creating. We are creating a sustainable spider silk. We are using biotechnology and the fashion industry. So we are contrasting all the problems, not only in the fashion industry, but also in the whole world. So I would like to tell you more about this project. In November, we are going to be presenting this project in Paris. So I will be glad to invite you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Elda or Imperio? Okay, Elda.
Thank you for the message. We are very interested to know about your project, and as you mentioned, in these sustainability areas or research areas, in my research group also we are working to find solutions in the transition of the plastic to bioplastics. And as you mentioned, microplastics is an issue that can be removed from the history because of the environmental impact. Yeah, we are very interested in your strategy or in your project. At the end of the talk, if we can talk, I will be very interested.
Bueno.
Thank you so much. The
Hello.
last question, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Regarding plastics, you were giving us some data, United Nations meeting somewhere, and 80% of the plastics is going to landfills. And it's okay if it is in a landfill, but it's going also to the sea, no? To the oceans. And in the ocean, with the movement, is going everywhere. And then comes the microplastics, no? So you were talking about recycling, but I'm finding out that recycling has a limited turns, so it's a kind of short response. And the other one is compostable. That is good, but I'm not listening nothing, and I've been talking with a lot of people, companies, and for the last year. What about biodegradation of the plastics in case the time of the biodegradation? I'm not listening about it. So does somebody has any comment regarding it?
Yes, yeah, that's a very good question. So most of you have been in these stores where you have these plastics bags, for example, Superama, Walmart, that they say, I'm speaking about the plastic bags, right? No paper bags. In plastic bags, they say biodegradable, right? And they have this green leaf. So what they don't tell you is which percentage of this material is biodegradable. I mean, if we take like the whole bag, like 100%, probably 2% is biodegradable, and the other 98% is petroleum-based material. So, but that's why it's very important, the regulations. So the regulations in Mexico, you can put to your product biodegradable even if you have like 2%, and that's okay for the regulation, right? So answering that question, I think brings me back this information that I give to the initial part, that according to the UN Assembly that was carried out in Kenya this last March, they say that by the end of 2024, they will come up with new regulations. And this new regulation, they will say that most of the plastics have to be sustainable. I mean, they have to go for some compostable, or they have to, maybe they will go with some percentage of this petroleum base and other part with the biodegradable. But I think they are going to be more strict about these regulations in order to stop the plastic pollution. But yeah, that's right, like it's about regulations.
Thank you so much. It's time. And
well, thank you very much. Yes, just in time. Thank you very much to all of them. I would like just to say, well, thank you to Elda, Madai, Melchor, researcher, professor at the Bioproduction System at Campus Monterrey, the Institute, Imperio, Anel, Perales, research professor at the Advanced Materials Unit of the Institute in Monterrey, Mariel, Alfaro, Ponce, unit leader of the manufacturing process of advanced materials in Mexico City campus, Dora, Iliana, Medina, unit leader of the accelerated materials development at the State of Mexico campus. And of course, our moderator, Clelia Hernández, executive director at Nuevo Leon 4.0, and she just received yesterday the medal of Diego Montemayor of Nuevo Leon. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Clelia. And thank you all of them.
Thank you so much, Arturo.